Namaskaram girls. So last session we saw about the French Revolution. Isn't it girls? What are the causes and all we saw in the last class? Causes, the political, economic and society. So all the causes we have saw. In this class we have to see about the cause of the French Revolution. Cause means what has happened. That only the cause. Okay. So that is a fall of Bastille. Fall of Bastille. Bastille is a place where the prison was there. That is a Bastille, very, very important. So during this time, the king ordered, before the king ordered, the tennis court oath and all we have saw, isn't it? So the king ordered the force to attack his own soldiers, but the soldiers were refused the word of the king. Okay, so the soldiers doesn't obey the word. The king take an option from the foreign regiment to shoot down the people. Okay, this becomes may make aggravated for the people. So his own king is decided to shoot the people, is not accepted by the people, so that they have started a riot. Riot means clergy. Okay, so what they have done on the 14th July 1789, they started to attack the Bastille. So they stormed the Bastille prison and set free all the prisoners, those who are in the prison. So left the prisoner to be free. This was done by the people of the France. Okay. So that day itself, same day itself, they have turned as a national day of France. The same day, which day girls? 14th July, that creates they celebrate as a national day of France. So this is a popular rising over the country. It spread all over the country. This makes some people for other countries also started to aggravate. Okay, and they formed the National Assembly. So this assembly consists of the moderate liberals. So they formed a constitution with the model of the England and the American. So England model or American model saying they have formed a National Assembly. The leader was Mirabeau. This assembly was controlled by the middle class people. Middle class people in the sense, you know, that a society. This assembly was controlled by the middle class, and there were no representation from the peasants. Okay, so there was no representation and the common people. So the National Assembly, they have formed nobles, they abolished the slaves, and they want to establish the Declaration of the Rights of the Man and the Citizen. So they want to pass a declaration regarding for the man and the citizen rights. Okay, this Declaration of Rights already we have studied. Lafayette, Thomas Jefferson. Now I said the leader Mirabeau. These are the leaders. They formed a law. This created for the people and the human virtues of the rights. This was valid at times in every places. Okay, the philosophers, many were consulted with discussions. At last they have found a development for the democracy worldwide. Okay, so the idea was taken from the American Declaration, American War of Independence. They had taken. So when you compare that, American is a very, very short one. They whatever the Declaration of Rights of Man and Citizen, this was short when you compare for the French one is a long one. So the assembly brought many reforms. The property, that is the property rights of the church, which was transferred to the state. Okay. So the new division of France have 80 departments. Now it was created as 80 departments. The old feudal system was stopped. And the new system of law courts, everything they have formed. Okay. This is about the National Assembly. Next we will go for the March to Versailles. March to Versailles, that is, during this period, very crucial period in Paris, because the rate of the bread piece was very high. So the common people couldn't buy the small piece of bread. So what they have done, the women of the Paris went to the Versailles to demand the bread from the king. Because the king is living in a luxury manner. Even now the treasury is empty, the king was acting as a luxury one only. So this was not liked by the people. The women started to enter to the king's palace. The crowd, all the people were demanded for the bread. So the family of the king was also mobbed. That is, the people started to attacking. Attacking means adidadi and the maris nadakkaru. Okay, so women also ransacked. Ransacked means taking out, edukkaru. So they started to take the bread pieces from the palace. So the king and the royal family planned to escape from them. Okay, this is the March to Versailles. Next, flight to Versailles. Flight to Versailles, that is, the king planned to escape, I told no girls. So they started to move on to the Versailles. And they formed a National Assembly, isn't it, girls? So the king decided to escape from Paris, and they started to escape with the family to Versailles. So in a town, the people saw he was dressed up in a unknown manner to escape. This was identified a postman, and all the people has rounded them. They put it in the bulletin. So all the gods, all the peoples were arrested the Louis and brought back to the Paris. Okay, this is a flight to Versailles. Next, Girondins and Jacobians. Girondins is nothing but they want to keep the king as a limited power. They are called as a Girondins. The hardcore Republican, they are called as the Jacobins. This was spread over in all over the foreign countries, especially in England. The French nobles, they had run from the revolutionary, that is, they have come out from the revolutionary, they have formed and settled in England. It was continued to against the revolution. So all the king of the Europeans were frightened. So frightened by the revolutionary activities of the people. So this was a Girondins and Jacobians. Next, they formed the Constitution of 1791. So in September 1791, the National Assembly they framed a National Assembly. This is a single chamber with 750 members. Here consists of, that is 750 members. They were franchise. Franchise means writing to vote. This was limited for those who have a less property doesn't have to franchise. That is the franchise, that is a right to vote. King only the executive head, but the powers were limited for the king. The power should not be taken by the king, but the namesake they have. Common people who stormed the Bastille. This becomes a development around the revolutionary energy. So this is called as a Paris Commune. And this commune is a direct touch with middle class peoples. So direct contact with the people. This is fully composed of the moderate middle class. So this is a constitution of 1791 and emigres and the revolutionary war. So in August 1792 they ordered an attack to the king palace. The king ordered shooting by the Swiss god. He was finally imprisoned. The king was imprisoned. The people of Paris, angered by the action of the Swiss god, by shooting and killing many people as supporters of the monarchy under the leader of the Marat. Okay. So in 3 days from the September 2, 1,500 people were taken prisons. After a trial, many people were killed. This incident is called as a September massacre. This is one of the short questions, isn't it, girls? And in September, this is occurred first victory for the French troops by invading Austrian and Persian at the Battle of Valmy. So this saved the revolution on September 21st, 1792. This is called as the National Convention met. Okay. So National Convention and Reign of Terror. National Convention in the sense they formed a National Convention to form a republic. Louis XVI was taken up immediately and put it to the death. He was guillotined. Louis XVI was guillotined. Guillotine means that is the machine will be cut the head. That is a guillotine. This was invented by guillotine. So it is named after the person named Guillotine. Okay. Then Danton, he was a leader for the revolution. He taken the crowd, addressed the crowd, and he was open challenge for the European kings. European kings, and through the conspiration they have a strong army against the Austria and Prussia. Okay, Austria and Prussia, they were against particularly for these countries, and later they were against the England also. Okay, these are the consequences to deal with the social problems. This was taken under control by the Danton. Next, they formed the National Convention created by a Republican calendar for France. So they started to follow the old calendars, name were deleted, and they framed a 10-day week. So the 12 months of the year was named after the natural elements. Each day was named after a seed, tree, flower, fruit. Everything was replaced, the saints' day names and Christian festivals. Okay, this was done by the Danton. Okay, then they started to use the metric system, that is kilograms, everything, no girls. So they started to follow the metric system, and in September 1793, law of suspects was followed. According to this, whoever started the revolution, they will be arrested. Whoever opposing the revolution, they will be arrested, they will be put into the death. So 22 Grenadiers were put into death. Okay, so thus the reign of terror was started now. The Danton, Herbert and Robespierre, they themselves form the leaders of the National Convention. So they divided on many issues. So in that one, Robespierre have taken the control of the public safety. And there was a massive peasant revolt in Vendy partly. This was to accept by the conscription. There was a strong movement against Christianity. So Christianity எதிர்த்து நிறைய பேர் இது பண்ணாங்க. So the proponents of the movement becomes the worship of reason. So there was a great festival of liberty and reason to Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris, but Robespierre was conservative in religious matters. He nor Danton approved this movement. So they are not accepted by the Danton or Robespierre. But Herbert organized a festival and he was put into the guillotine. So this is the cause of the first split in the Jacobean party. These three formed a Jacobean party. Already I said Jacobean, that is very hard, rude persons. Danton and others protest against the Robespierre, sending many people to the guillotine. யார் இவனை எதிர்க்கிறாங்களோ அவங்களெல்லாம் guillotine machine போட்டுருவோம். All were executed, surrounded by enemies and totally alienated from the people. Robespierre also intensified the terror and he was put into the guillotine. The law of suspects, that is, divided the people punishable crime. Under this law, many group of people were tried to get a sentence. This reign of terror was lasted for 46 days. 27th July 1794, the convention suddenly turned against Robespierre and Robespierre were guillotined. The reign of terror ended with the fall of Robespierre. So he was honest, patriotic and a person of integrity earned notoriety. In October 1795, the convention broke up and directory of 5 members have created. The directory was short-lived by the Napoleon Bonaparte. He was taken power as the emperor of France. Next, impact of French Revolution. This was put to an end of the absolute monarchy. The power of clergy was curbed, and the revolution united the people of different sections, and they shows the powers of the state. Growth of feeling of nationalism, emergence of assertive middle class. So these are the one has taken, and liberty, equality, fraternity was made. Okay girls, that's all about the history lesson, Age of Revolution. Thank you girls. Namaskaram girls. Now we will move on to the topic civics, road safety. We no need to give more explanation about the road safety, isn't it girls? So many were died because of the road accidents. 1.2 million people were died, 50 people were injured. What are the causes? Causes when you see drunken drive, which was 40% speed. Next, distraction to drivers. So any distraction will be disturbed for the driver, that will create an accident. Red light jumping. When the red light is there, the people will move away, correct? Then overtaking in a wrong manner. These are the causes for the death by the road accidents. Different factors, when you come for different factors, drivers in the sense overspeed, rash driving, violation of rules, failure to understand the sign. Pedestrians, carelessness, illiteracy, crossing at wrong places. Passengers, they put their body out or hands, or when they are talking to drivers. Boarding vehicles, that is when the bus is not standing before that, so they will get down from the bus. Vehicles, failure of brakes, steering, tire burst, insufficient headlights, overloading. Road conditions, when you come for road conditions, damaged road, many roads. Nowadays in Madurai we have many roads, ups and downs was there, isn't it girls? Weather condition, when the rain comes, the road becomes spoils, correct? And for this we have to take a preventive measure. Education has to give to the awareness about this road safety, strict enforcement of law. Then engineering in the sense it divides into vehicle design and road infrastructure. These are the one preventive measures when you come for the rules. You have to know your signals, stop, look and go. We have to pay attention while on the road. You should not run on the road. Always keep on the sidewalk. Then stick hand outside the vehicle should not be there. Never cross at the bends. Don't rush while driving, while walking. You should not rush. Always keep left and cross at zebra lane. This is about the road safety of the Civics 6th lesson. Okay girls, thank you girls.